everyone, welcome back to some Blood Crest Manor content. Today we're going to be taking a look at this candelabra and getting it set up for the haunt. Now I got this from a yard sale for $5 last summer, and it was just a solid deal. It came with these little glass globes. I already got those off. I don't know if I'll use them for anything or not, but we got them. And this greenery also, but I'm about to be taking it off. This thing's purpose is going to be to sit right above the kitchen sink. And if you've been watching the episode, you'll see that there's a good bit of wire that we have going right there above the sink. We didn't have a choice in this because the house had to be rewired. But this is going to be great for covering it up. It's actually about the size and width of that space right there over the sink. So I'm going to have some little bit of upgrades to it. I have some like bag of bones from Halloween that I got pretty cheap. I want to be upgrading some of those. I got a skull from Spirit on the 50% off day. It's going to be probably seated right here in the center of it. Get some red candles, some cobwebbing. This thing's going to be something right out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But alright everyone, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. Alright everyone, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our bag of bones and our skull. Now for me, I got these from Spirit for 50% off on their 50% off sale day. And it came out to like $14, so you really can't beat it. So what we're going to be doing here is we're just going to be helping these things out by giving them a little bit of color. Now, especially the skull, everything kind of already looks good. But with that being said, just that white bone over on all pieces would look a little bit odd. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them some individuality and give them a little bit of color to help break up that bone white look. And to do that, we're going to be doing some dry brushing. Now to dry brush, all you have to do is take the desired color, put it on some newspaper or paper towel and brush it out to where it's almost dry, and then stroke it over the surface that you're trying to give some color. Now in my case, I'm using brown on the bottom and then I'm going to be putting a little bit of red on top. And what this does is it helps create like a dried blood aged effect. And it really helps to just sell to you that this isn't just some store-bought prop, that it actually has a little bit of age to it. But alright everyone, so once we get this done, we'll get on to the next step. Alright everyone, so now that we have all of our paint done and it's all dried up, all we're going to do is we're just going to throw some spray finish on this. And what it's going to do is it's going to help the acrylic not peel off or flake or scratch off when it's rubbed against something. It helps a ton with just making sure nothing like that happens. And in this case, you don't want to put a ton onto it. You just want to put enough onto it to where it seals it up good. And once it's dry, you'll be ready to go to put it onto the candelabra itself. Alright everyone, so what you're about to see here is me attempting to get these pieces to stay onto the candelabra by using some twine that I got from the Dollar Tree. The twine looks great and it works relatively decent, but as the more I tried to mess with it, the more I realized that it just isn't going to stay on here straight unless it's like secured via glue. Now in the heavier cases like the skull and the femur, I went ahead and just tied those on using string. And even the skull being tied on, it just would not stay on the way I wanted it to. So I had to come back through and use some hot glue. Now, using hot glue on pieces like this, because it's such a smooth plastic onto really smooth metal, it really doesn't want to stay on as great as you would hope it would. Now, to alleviate this, I just used a little bit extra here and there, but even though I did that, when I was transporting this over to the haunt from my house, it still like wanted to shake loose a couple of the pieces. Now this was quickly remedied and easily fixed by a little bit of hot glue once we got there, but it's worth noting that it's really difficult to get these on with twine and to keep them in a symmetrical way. As you can see here, I'm doing my best to mess with it, but eventually I came to a point where I was like, okay, you don't want to stay on with twine, you're going to stay on with glue. And that's what I went with. Now you can also go with twine and glue just to make sure that it's given extra support. But in my case, I don't foresee this piece being moved around a lot. And even if it is, it's going to be very minor and very carefully. So do this however you want to do it. Do you want to use twine only? Do you want to use glue, or do you want to use both? Or you can use like a baling wire or something like that. But other than that, that's how I was able to get it to stick. Now what you're seeing me do here is on the hands that came in the bag of bones, they ended up having these two little tabs on the bottom for whatever reason. And they just looked really out of place. So all I did there was just took a pair of snips and just cut those off. But other than that everyone, we're going to be talking to you here in the next step. Alright, so the last step we're going to be having here is to go ahead and get our candles put into the candelabra itself. Now for me, what I'm doing is I'm melting the candles down, putting the melted wax into the candle holder itself, and then sticking the candle in there. And what that will do is the melted wax will then solidify and it'll hold the candle in place. I tried doing this outside, but it was just too windy for me, so I ended up having to do it inside. For me though, I have a good bit of ventilation in this room, so it's not really a big concern. Now, if you're doing this at home and you're in a garage or something like that, I'd probably suggest just waiting for the wind to die down and doing it another day if you have to. And looking back on this, I probably could have just hot glued these in, and that would have been done a lot easier and probably held them in better anyway. But instead, I went ahead and did it the old-fashioned traditional way. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going through, getting a little bit of wax in each one, and then I'm sticking the candle inside of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take me a donor candle and I'm going to go through with it lit on all of them. And I'm going to use it to drizzle the wax down each candle. And what this will do is it'll just really help create that nice used candle look. You'll have a lot of wax dripping down it, a lot of like those drip marks where it's solidified. But these candles will never be lit again after this. And with that being said, you want them to look the part. You don't want them to look like new candles. But other than that, once you have this done, they all look authentic, you're about ready to hang it.
That's good.
Oh, that's good to me.
That's it. Oh yeah, that looks good. Although it does nothing to conceal the wire.
Well, it does, because it draws your attention away from it. Now, I think what we need to do is
More creepy cloth.
you definitely need a lot more creepy cloth to encompass this entire corner. And then
Yeah.
I would take some spray paint and just spray paint like this back corner here, like a black or a gray or something, to make it all the same color. And then I don't think you'd have a problem with it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna try some things. All right, everyone. So that's going to be it for our candelabra project. Now, everything you see here really just cost me about 20 bucks. That's it. Candelabra from the yard sale, candles from the yard sale, a bag of bones from Spirit, and a skull from Spirit when it was all 50% off sale. So that is what you're seeing up here, and just some hard work on it. Now, I did think it would be a little bit higher, but I could always burn the candles down to try to get that effect. But honestly, I'm really happy with it being at the eye level that it is. It's going to be really a cool effect in the haunt. Now, I did end up hot gluing these pieces in instead of using twine on all of them, with the exception of the skull and the femur down here on the bottom. There we go. And so the rest of them, I tried to twine them in, but it would just make them crooked every time. So I ended up scrapping that idea and going for the hot glue. Now that does make it a little bit more fragile, so you have to be really careful with shaking and bumping. But other than that, it's all really good to go. We're going to come in here with some more creepy cloth to come down and just add some more effect to it. But other than that, what you see here is probably what it's going to be looking like come the haunt. So let me know how you think we did in the comments below. Let me know what you'd have done different, and I'll be talking to you here next time. Ooh.